Okay, I want to tell you a little bit about my perspective on the ego and the awareness, and as well show you a visualizer of what's helped me to be able to constantly keep the awareness of my own self at front and center. Okay, so first, ego versus awareness. To me, our ego is like the identity. For me, Eric or Epic, that is the ego, the identity that I've got. The awareness is everything behind it, the observer, what is happening outside of the mental thinking that is happening at every second in the mind, the observing of the mental thinking. If I was silent and I'm thinking, like in my head, the actual voice that I'm hearing is the thinking ego voice. What is awareness is the observation of the ego voice. Okay, so I want to show you. We're not going to make this video very long because I can be very much to the point. This is the way that I really visualize this, and it helps me. That's it's going to be perception, right? So you've got your eyes and you're perceiving everything at all times. Focus perception. Right now, my focus is on the camera, which is evidently into your eyes on the other side of the lens, on the other side of the internet, through that mutual exchange. My ego is focusing towards the lens to be able to now enter your world, okay? But in order for my thinking here in the brain, you imagine that there's just me inside the brain at the control seat. I am choosing to have the ego focus on what it is focusing on, okay? And attention, much like a spotlight, is switching at all times. So I can switch it that way or this way. But the awareness, this is where it gets very broad for myself. Awareness, this is what really helps for me, is I like to separate the head here and have this very vast connection behind, like behind us, and outside of the thought within us is the awareness. This whole space that is observing the thinking, logical or emotional or decisive part of the I within me. That awareness, that observing, is what the true nature that all of us have. The observing. Meditation allows you to get very, very close to getting the monkey mind and the thinking mind quieted and strengthen the awareness of your own self. Now, with this visualizer, I've got this on my, other than the little guy here in the control seat, I've got a visualizer like this in my room so that I can remember that this side, this perception, look at those letters, that's the ego. And behind that, behind the thinking seat, is the awareness. So every time I see this illustration, it has me flood and open my perception much more and come back into the decider, the decision maker, the one that is really calling the shots versus being pushed and pulled every which different direction by emotions or thoughts or by the ego, by the thinking mind, which is wanting to be logical about what somebody is thinking. Imagine, if you will, right now I'm standing in a coffee shop. What this mind is going to be wanting to do is think, what does that person think of me? Or perhaps look at the menu. What should I get on the menu? Or perhaps something else will happen. Some notification is going off on my phone. So this mind is constantly looking and calculating and wondering what to put its attention on. When you begin to pay attention to that thinking mind through meditation or breath work, the awareness begins to gain strength. Instead of the thinking mind possessing you, as Eckhart Tolle likes to put it, you become aware of the thinking mind, and with more and more attention on it, the thinking mind becomes in your control versus controlling you. Because awareness is what you always were. The awareness that is observing the thinking mind all the time. That awareness is the God within you. Okay, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Now, I saw this really good description of consciousness by a man where, in order to describe consciousness, it's like the source and light of all. What he did was put a hand and he said consciousness can be pictured as light. Now, the light in the room is on the outside of the camera, but if I put my hand here, that's like your body. The light is on here and it's illuminating and it brings form to the hand. But if the light went out, the hand is gone. Okay, it's like kind of when you're sleeping, kind of when you go into a deep state of meditation, possibly. But the light is not the hand. It brings attention to it, though. And so awareness in the same way. Awareness is what you always have been and you are. It's your I am center of being that always is. Now, this being center is, for myself also, what I'm learning is a center where you access being able to bring things, your desires, your wish fulfilled, into completion. When you really settle into your I amness, your awareness, you understand that all things are possible. Because it's from that space that things exist from. Instead of letting the ego control the show. You silence the ego through bringing more space and awareness. So this is the first video I wanted to make on the ego and awareness. I hope that is helpful for you. This is Epicworld. I'll see you in another video. If you'd like, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment what you have learned and what you think about this video. We'll see you in another one. Peace out.